Okay, it is 9:28 a.m. and this is a Tuesday, December the 14th, 2021. And I did check with Fidelity. I can't trade OTCs today. I think by Friday I'll be able to trade OTCs. So, I'm not gonna get my hopes up and think, oh, the next day it's gonna be, the day I can trade OTCs again. I'm just gonna, have my, I guess to call it in theory, my risk level at Friday for day trading, and if Friday shows up and the cash still hasn't settled, that's when I'll probably just not be in a really good mood, because that's a really long time. But hey, in the meantime, I was able to switch my Interactive Brokers account from a cash account to now a short selling account, so it's on margin, and I have money there that I can actually use to short sell listed stocks, which would be pretty cool. And if any setup shows up, I might be interested, but probably not. That's kind of out of my realm, really, to be shorting listed stocks. So buying listed stocks is already something. Shorting them seems even scarier, but it's possible that there can be a nice, listed stock runner that can be a good short for the rest of the day. This is a new one that I'll be watching. This one is up a lot, but I don't like how it had a few days previously with a lot of volume, which makes this one hard to make an uptrend. If I see any OTC setups, I guess I'll open the TD immediate trade thing and I'll just pretend to paper trade them. The platform for paper trading on Thinkorswim isn't the best because they don't seem to have like the right bid and ask, but I'll definitely do that. In theory, if I were to be able to trade with a real account, I'd be super interested in AXXA if it can do a morning panic bounce play, as well as any other OTCs, but this one would be my priority just because it's a nice OTC runner, very fresh in the beginning of its run up, which makes it super nice. It is 9:38 a.m. and as for the OTC setup, CYBL, I wouldn't have traded this. This was a quick one at 9:32, and I don't like the way it got there. The volume wasn't that great, the price action wasn't that great, the daily chart isn't that good either. This is a no-go. JPEX did one, but this one was very quick, the level 2 reversal, and the volume isn't really there, and it's kind of slow the way it trades. But I will be looking at this one for a higher low, lower low, maybe a double bottom. Since it can do a move from 26.5 to 28.5 almost, and it can be something where it kind of heads under VWAP, maybe makes a double bottom, higher low, lower low, and then it kind of holds that level and it uptrends, and then maybe the rest of the morning it can try to break VWAP, which would be nice, and uptrend even more from there with a solid level to risk, which would be this level. In theory, unless it gets below it, then I'll just have to watch for maybe 26 because that's a round number, or something along those lines. If it's not going to play off of the panic bottom, ILUS is not doing anything. I'll probably remove this one. If it does something super nice in the future, I'll be watching it. I think ABB isn't that nice. Maybe it can do a breakout setup, but I'm not really that interested in breakouts. I like dip buys, morning panics. This one did look like it was gonna do a panic, but then it kind of caught itself, which is nice. This means more strength, and maybe it can do something in the future later this week for a morning panic bounce play. I'm just watching this one. It's a listed stock that's running, at least it had a pre-market gap up, so maybe it can do something the rest of the day. That would be nice instead of just fading the entire time. And as for BLU, okay, it did try to wake up and catch itself before it was going to downtrend, but it looks like it's failing now. It's just going to be a wash. I wasn't necessarily that interested in shorting it. Just because I'm able to doesn't mean I want to. I had to see something like stupid clean. Maybe if it makes this a head and shoulders or something that I like, I might consider it, but not this right there. Even though it could just fade the rest of the day, I'll be looking at JPEX for that setup I mentioned. Other than that, I got nothing right now in terms of what I want to trade except for this. It is 9:57 a.m. and I stopped looking at JPEX because it did what I wanted. I mean, this is something I've seen with a lot of OTCs, and it just kind of did it all weird because it didn't really have the volume to do it. It just kind of hit the bid, until it's reached the bottom and then it quickly turned around, so it wasn't really much of a setup. I'm actually going to remove this, but it is going to be on the other watch list just because of the fact that it doesn't really trade with much volume, and that really says something, because I don't even trade with that much money. I trade a $30 risk level with OTC setups. And as for the other ones, I haven't been looking at this one. I was looking at GRTX for a short setup, but I didn't like it too much. Here was the shoulder, here's the head, and then it had this downtrend. I would have liked it a lot more if it made an uptrend and it choked at VWAP or maybe slightly above it like it did here, but the way it was kind of doing it under VWAP, I just didn't want to be in something that doesn't work out, and then I'm shorting under VWAP, so it's like not an ideal setup. Sure, it could fade right then and there, but it just doesn't really feel that good. And now I don't really like the way it kind of did a nice bottom here and it uptrended, and now it's right at its high. So if I had to guess, this one has a really high chance of breaking past it, and if it even was going to be a short setup, this thing would be some severe resistance, and that might be kind of hard. We're getting a call. I'll make an update later. It is 10:52. I am back, and I haven't been looking at the market since I had that call, but I might have, probably not, because it's not like a proper head and shoulders, but I might have been interested in maybe showing it here, maybe a shoulder head and then a shoulder, but not an exact science, because it did get a little bit higher, but it does seem like to play off of VWAP, and now it broke under it. So that's pretty interesting there. You could also say this is shoulder head and then shoulder here, but I would have liked this more, shoulder head shoulder, just the way I look at it. Maybe it's not perfect or an exact science, but definitely that's how I would have seen it. And at this point it's choking under VWAP. I don't really have that much of an interest in this one, at least where it is, the way it's trading right now, but maybe if it can look a lot cleaner, do something that I would like, maybe I'll consider that for a longer or short. But markets overall are not doing that well. It could be worse. It looks like it just failed a trend line. Let me draw it. It's not, I can't, like, in my mind it seems like it failed a, what's wrong with this? It seems like this thing just failed a trend line, like a confirmed breakdown. Yeah, okay, that's right. It just looks like it's been following this trend line, and if you were to extend it further back, I mean, you can go like at least 2 years and it follows this trend line, and it will just dip sure near the bottoms. All of these were good dip buys. Now hindsight 2020, but I don't know, it feels like people are always scared of the markets crashing no matter what time or period we're in, and they're also telling you to buy gold. Okay, so yeah, this one broke the trend line here officially back here in October, and then it came back and started to hold above it. We broke under the trend line again, so now we're playing off of a new level. Well, before we were playing off of this trend line, right, but now we're playing off of it being under the trend line, at least the way I have it, right? And this is a pure rejection right here, because it broke the trend line here, came back, kind of held itself above it, right? And then it failed, and then it came back, but it didn't get above the trend line this time. That's a pretty harsh rejection. Now, does that mean it's going to 300? No, but could it get under 450? It's more likely. And it's not like it's a Monday, it's a Tuesday. Monday might just be a freak out day, and then Tuesday everything's back to normal. I'll be watching this, but this thing rejected the trend line. Now it might do something where I don't think I have it anymore. Yeah, sometimes it breaks under the trend line and then it kind of holds on the underside. It kind of holds under it, but then that fails eventually. I think a listed stock that I traded or looked at did that last week. I forgot what it was, but this thing can maybe try to get under the trend line and kind of hang right under it and then lose momentum, kind of, you know, start to be distant from it, and then it can downtrend, or it can do, you know, I mean, it could do a bunch of things, but this isn't good. Just to summarize that's pretty interesting, and that's going to affect listed stocks, especially any that are up on the day, any recent runners, because these are very speculative, of course, because they're very volatile. I'll make an update later, and I'll try to get my words together. But I don't see anything right now that I would be interested in trading. Okay, I am here to call it off. It is 4:47 p.m. and I did not trade anything. The one that did look kind of nice for a morning panic bounce play, it just did not really have the volume. And as for the listed stocks, BLU didn't really do anything that I was interested in trading, and GRTX is yeah, still in the same levels actually. I mean, it had a spike here, but you know, this was a short setup and I just wasn't there for it. And even if I was there, I don't know if I would have taken it, because I'm not, you know, that interested in shorting listed stocks. So maybe it's something I can do, especially, you know, since Fidelity doesn't want to settle my cash. But you know, it is interesting because I've never really been able to short listed stocks that easily. You know, especially these first day runners. So maybe this is something I can actually tackle at some point in the future, because now I have that ability with Interactive Brokers. But for now, I didn't trade that, and I don't mind it. As for the other ones, KYNC is starting to uptrend, but I had a sell off, which kind of stinks. But you know, this thing might just barely be enough for a morning panic bounce play in the future. I don't like how easily it can just drop and end up being a sub-penny stock. CYBL didn't really do anything interesting today. Just kind of doesn't have any volume. It's nowhere like interesting for me. Maybe a sketchy dip buy and, you know, risking it off of this level here, but that's not really something I'm interested in doing. Nothing here with AABB, and unfortunately this one downtrended. AXXA, it can be a morning panic bounce play setup. I just wish maybe it held today a little better, so then there's more range to trade morning panic bounce plays. But you know, this is what we're given, is better than nothing. I'm gonna call it off right here. I didn't trade anything once again, but maybe I'll be able to trade something tomorrow, especially now with the idea in mind that I am able to short listed stocks, which could be something I could try in the future. But I'd rather stick with OTCs, or at least have that as a primary, because I like trading OTCs a lot more than listed stocks.